Hi guys, welcome back to a brand new tattoo and piercing horror story video. Deranged. But hi everyone, hello, welcome back to another video. I hope you're all having a wonderful end to your week. We're almost at the weekend, almost time for freedom. Oh my god, I had a bit of a crazy couple of days. I got my Crash Bandicoot section of my arm colored in, which is really lovely. I cannot wait. I'm gonna do like a whole update on the whole situation because it's been a long time since I've done like a tattoo update, so there's gonna be a tattoo video very soon. Anyway, today I am back to react to some of your piercing and tattoo horror stories. As always, I have taken all of these stories from the previous version of this video, the previous edition, and if you'd like to submit your own stories, please comment down below some of your piercing or tattoo or any kind of body modification horror stories, and maybe you can be in the next video. As always, if you have already submitted something and I haven't read it out, you're more than welcome to repost the same story down here, and eventually you'll get into a video. But hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any videos that are coming out. But let's not beat around the bush, Watlier, and get on to your horror stories. So I got my Prince Albert a couple years ago. God, oh, we already know this story is going to be insane when we talk about Prince Albert piercings. My piercer is a professional piercing and have done a few other piercings after that, including my frenulum. If you want to see what that is, you can go Google it. I'm not going to describe it. But the Prince Albert was my first genital piercing. It was pierced at an 8 gauge or a 10, which everywhere I read online said it was a good size. Again, I forget what gauges are to millimeters. I don't remember exactly what that is. The piercing itself went off without a hitch, but the first week or so of healing sucked. I cannot imagine having like your penis pierced, especially Prince Albert, that kind of goes in through the urethra and down. It must be really sore every time you go to like urinate or something. It must be really uncomfortable. The first morning after, it bled a ton, like through the bandage, through my underwear, and through the sheets of my bed. Oh my god, just a pool of, you know, how terrifying would that be, waking up with like a pool of blood in your genital region? No, thank you. No. No, thank you. I tried to pee, but nothing happened. I pushed harder, and a centimeter or two wide chunk of dried blood came shooting out of my urethra. Oh my god, disgusting. Oh no, I didn't like that.
Wow, I didn't like that. Oh.
For the first few days, it would bleed every time I had to pee. When I went back to get my second genital piercing, my piercer said it healed really good though. It was kind of scary seeing how much blood was there through the first morning. There was dry blood on my thighs and bed, and actually had to take a shower. Oh my god. But I mean, I'm glad that it healed okay for you. Like, it's wonderful that it actually healed. Seeing all that blood, I would just panic and freak out. I would never get like genital piercings just because like if anything did go wrong, I would hate to have like an infection or anything bad happen there. I also have no desire to do it. Like, it's not something that I ever want, but you know, the idea of anything going wrong as well, especially being in an area like that, is enough to freak me out enough not to do it. Trying to pee and then like chunks of like dried blood coming out the end of your penis is just awful. No. Just thought I'd put my own tattoo horror story out here. Small warning, it's pretty terrible. We love to see it. We don't love to see it, but also like we do love to see it for the videos. Oh, the paradox, girls. So when I was around 10 or 11, why does this story start when you're 10 or 11? A tattoo story is starting when you were 10. So when I was around 10 or 11, I was friends with a girl about 5-6 years older than me. The relationship had a super uneven power dynamic for obvious reasons. Wait a minute, so if you're 10, you're hanging out with like a 15-year-old. That's weird. I mean, I think that's weird. Is that a bit, do you think that's weird? I feel like when you're older, having age differences like this isn't an issue at all, especially when it comes to like friends and stuff. When you're like 10 years old, hanging out with a 15-year-old who's not like your relative, it is a bit weird. Like, that is a bit weird. That's a bit weird. Like, it's a bit weird. She suggested that we celebrate my graduation from 5th grade by, you guessed it, giving me a tattoo. No, see, this is not a healthy relationship. No. I could not imagine going, like, as a teenager, going to someone who's like 10 years old going, I'm going to give you a tattoo. Disgusting. Absolutely not. No, this is not a good relationship. No, we do not approve. I thought it was a brilliant idea. Of course, because you're like 10. I've always thought that tattoos were super cool and I was a dumb little kid. You weren't a dumb little kid. You were a child. Like, as a 10, 11-year-old, you have no idea about tattoos. You have no idea about actually the process and what it's like and everything. So, like, you can't be dumb about this topic or, like, dumb because you said yes, because you're actually a child. Like, this is, like, some kind of weird almost abusive relationship kind of thing where this person's going, let's do this to a kid. I don't know, something about this story and this relationship feels very predatory to me, and I do not like it. After I agreed, she pulled up Pinterest, red flag, and we just picked out a design, a little crescent moon about 2 or 3 inches long with some stars by it. But wait, it gets worse. How does this get worse, Kyle? We couldn't get it done professionally for obvious reasons, so she boiled a sewing needle after somehow getting her hands on tattoo ink. I'm pretty sure she got it from Wish. Oh God, just gets worse. We went to her room to do it. After about 3 passes over the design, it was completely filled into, not just the outline. We had to stop for the day because I was in so much pain. She claimed that the ink wasn't in good enough and that we had to continue where we left off the next day. Again, being a chronic people pleaser, I agreed. Again, you're not a chronic people pleaser. You were a child. Like, you're a literal child. Like, this is very different. This is very different to being like, oh, I just had to make people happy when I was... No, you were a child and you're being manipulated. Here's where it gets bad though. We couldn't use her house because I was being too noisy, because it really hurt. So she took me outside behind the shed and told me to lay down behind a shed. We did a stick and poke outside. I mean, the thing is, again, like, you didn't do stick and poke. You just, like, stabbed a bit of ink in you with a pin. Like, this is not a stick and poke. Like, just straight up on the dirt. No blanket, no mat or anything. Anyway, she finishes the tattoo and and then hands a sewing needle to me and tells me to give it a try on myself. Mind you, not on her. She sketched out a line arrow on my other leg and told me to get to it. Again, I was 10. I could barely write legible handwriting, let alone tattoo myself. I was a moron. You're not a moron. You're a child. So I did it anyway, even though at this point I knew it was a bad idea. It turned out super shaky and most of the ink fell out within a year. Wow. I am so confused as to how you didn't get any kind of infection. Like, that's insane. You blame yourself a lot for this. You're literally a child. Like, yes, 16-year-olds are kind of stupid as well, but like, a 16-year-old telling a 10-person, like 16-year-olds, 15, 16-year-olds know that a 10-year-old tattooing themselves is not a good idea. I refuse to believe that anyone's growing up in a world where that seems like a normal thing to do. So don't blame yourself. I feel like you're very hard on yourself about this. No, you were manipulated and persuaded into doing something that you didn't want to do because you knew, like, even you said you knew it was a bad idea at some points, but you were a child. Peer pressure is a huge thing, especially when you're very young, and this person really manipulated you into doing this shit. Oh my God. Especially with the age power dynamic. Absolutely not. That is so awful. I cannot believe that happened. I cannot believe that happened. Horrid story. I had lots of piercings even as a teen. My parents were awesome about it. I had about everything you could imagine done in my ears, but my little cousin, who was not quite 1 at the time, was mesmerized by the jewelry I had in my daith. We watched her almost daily and my mum kept warning me to change the jewelry, but me being 16 and didn't want to ruin my aesthetic. Oh girl, we've all been there. If you hadn't already figured this out, yeah, her little tiny baby hands reached right in there and yanked the jewelry right out of my cartilage. I'm 32 now and I still remember how warm I began to feel and how dizzy I got. I almost puked. It was so bad. My mum knew what happened before I even said anything from the look on my face. There's still a very visible indent/scar where it happened. Just to be clear, this thing was in my ear. It was healed, healthy, not rejecting, and placed at a decent depth. I've heard you say a lot that animals and piercings don't mix. Well, here's a friendly reminder that humans are part of animal kingdom. Oh God. Yeah, I've actually been debating whether to take my daith piercing out because it's just like being a bastard. Like, now and then it just keeps flaring up for no reason. And I'm just like, I think I might be done with it. So I might do a video soon where I take out my daith piercing and be like, bah, bitch, I'm still unsure. The idea that got ripped out, like, that is such a sensitive part of your ear. Like, not even just like it's that part of your ear is so sensitive that the idea a baby just reached and ripped it out. Oh, disgusting. Absolutely not. This is why I do stay away from children.
Filthy, nasty things. Glad I never was one.
Luckily enough, my niece and nephew, they're turning 6 very soon. They've actually never really tried to do too much with my piercings. They have tried to touch them before when they were like really young, but now that they're kind of a little bit older, you can like obviously say to them like, you can't do that, and they'll actually understand what you're saying, so that's good. But I remember my nephew, I was babysitting them a while ago, and he was like, what's all those things in your ears? And I was like, they're called piercings. And he goes, they're very pretty. And I just like melted. I was like, ah! I was expecting him to be like, they look funny or something. But it was like, they're very pretty. And my heart melted. But yeah, I don't tend to go anywhere near kids. I'm not the most child-friendly person. Mainly because every other word I say is bit late, but here's a tattoo horror story / warning for you all. I'm immune compromised, but I have been doing well for the last few months and thought it was finally time to start my tattoo sleeve. I'd got my appointment with one of the best studios in Montreal and had been there before, and it's 100% the best when it comes to hygiene too. So I didn't have any reason to be anxious about it. Appointment itself goes by really well. The tattoo looks amazing. We slapped some wait, what's that? Sanidirum? I'm gonna have to Google what this is. Okay, so it's like a tattoo aftercare product. So we slap it on and I head home. The next day, the area around the inner elbow was red, but I chalked it up to being irritation since it had just been one day. God, I was wrong. Gosh, look out for the warning signs. The day I removed the I don't know how you say that word. The day I removed the tattoo aftercare product, I realized the inner elbow lines are red and that the area is hot to touch. My dumbass goes, oh, maybe I'm just an allergic reaction to the aftercare product, forgetting my lack of immune system for a while. Oh no. I head to a drugstore and ask the pharmacist what I can put on to prevent it from getting worse. She looks at it and then looks back at me and says, oh honey, that's not an allergy. By that time, the lines had started swelling and not in a pretty way. I get sent home with antibiotics, both oral and topical. It's been about a week and the lines got worse before they got better, and my immune system finally realized something was happening and now is making my joints ache instead. Oh no! So if you know for a fact your immune system is not up to par, don't chance it and take care of yourself. Don't be an idiot like me. Yeah, to be honest, like my knowledge about like obviously people with you know, immune system problems and things getting tattoos, I don't really know that much about it, but I would always say if you're going to get anything like this done, please like consult your doctor, consult people who would know, you know, your body itself to make sure that what you're doing is actually okay. Unfortunately, I know some people get upset when they can't have things they want. Like people have like certain anatomies for certain piercings. Not every single person can get every single kind of piercing. You know, some people I can't get an industrial piercing. I can't get my tongue pierced. Like things that I really want to get done, you kind of just have to accept it, unfortunately. You know, some people have certain allergies to certain inks, and you might have to accept that maybe a certain color won't react well to you, and you have to accept that maybe, you know, that color you can't use. Or if you are, you know, immune compromised, maybe you just can't get tattoos at all. So I would always say, please, 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 like consult your doctors, consult people obviously in the know, and actually make sure that you are able to do this. Not a horror story related to any of my tattoos or piercings, but anyways, it was in early high school. There was a guy who had apparently got a stick and poke at a party the night before one of my classes. I saw it and immediately laughed, thinking it was fake because it was so bad and crooked. I didn't know it was real and I made him super upset. He came into class a month later with a professional cover-up. But what were they expecting? I don't know what it is about stick and poke tattoos, but like people, there's this weird sort of notion that anyone can just do them. They just buy a needle and some ink and they can just shove it in and it's going to be like a perfect tattoo. Like, no, like it's not something anyone can just do on a whim. Like you actually need to learn how to do it. I don't think things like Amazon and Wish and all these places help, because you can buy like stick and poke kits online very easily. The same way that you can buy like piercing guns and piercing cartridges very easily in these staplers and things. So it doesn't surprise me that people are doing this kind of stuff so much, but it's more like, I don't know why you're expecting your tattoo to be like amazing. We shouldn't even call them tattoos at this point, because it won't be a tattoo. It would just be like a mess.
You're a mess, woman.
Like, I don't know why people are expecting that they're going to do it themselves after having zero training, and everyone's going to be like, oh, it looks so good, Mavis. Yes, I really love how you've sketched in the KFC logo in your leg, but it actually looks like a chicken foot. Piercing and tattoo horror story. Ooh, 2 for 1. When I just turned 13, I decided I wanted to do a stick and poke. No. I grabbed a random needle. I didn't disinfect the needle. Oh my God, why? Stop it!
Stop it.
And I cut open a pen for the ink. Wonderful. I was going to use for my tattoo. Just cut open a random biro pen and be like, you know, this thing's fine because putting biro ink into your body is healthy. And I started poking and I ended up doing 3 tattoos in one day. Again, we need to not call these tattoos. These aren't tattoos. You're not giving yourself tattoos. You're just like damaging your body. Like, this isn't tattoos. Like, this this needs to be classed as something completely different. I did a heart on my thigh and a heart on my ankle. After that, I continued to make a huge spider on my ankle of my Chemical Romances album cover. Oh, very 2000s emo. It got extremely red and it started to swell, and I just thought it was normal. I didn't disinfect it or anything after I did the stick and poke. A couple weeks later, I decided to do a smiley piercing myself with my friend with the same needle that I used to do the tattoo. No, stop! This is getting worse and worse and worse. It even still had the ink on it when we first rubbed the smiley piercing using unsanitary ice cubes and then just shoved the needle through. We didn't have any jewelry, so we put in an earring in the fresh hole and raced to the store that would be closed in a couple of minutes. We ended up getting some cheap ass nose jewelry at the dollar store. After I did the same smiley piercing, I never cleaned the piercing. Surprisingly, it didn't get infected and I still got the piercing and tattoos. Give me strength. Lord, give me strength. Lord, give me strength. I genuinely have no words. I actually have no words to talk about what we just read through. I'm bewildered and gobsmacked that you're fine. Like how you haven't just like died from like ink poisoning. And you still have it now. I mean, tattoo ink is going to be in you. Like if you're going to shove ink into your skin, like it's going to be in you. I can't imagine it looks very good, but like it's going to stay there. Completely bewildered, puzzled, gouted. Wow. When I was about 10, maybe... What is about these 10-year-olds? Why are all these about 10, 11-year-olds? What's going on? What's in the water, girls? What's making these, like, literal children do crazy things? When I was about 10, maybe 11, all I wanted in life was to get my ears pierced. So I asked my mum, and she did a bunch of research, and after a few months, we went to the best piercing shop in our city. This piercer, from what I remember, was so kind, and he talked me through everything he did. He held ice to the back of my ear and started to push the needle. He held ice to the back of your ear. A professional piercer held ice on the back of your ear. What? That's... I'm putting into question now if this person was a professional piercer. Held ice in your... Okay, in the 32 years I've been alive, and the countless people, piercers, modders, places I've spoken to, I have never in my life heard anyone say that they went to a studio and the piercer held ice against their ear. Like, to me, that's like some Claire's Accessories bullshit you would hear, but like at an actual piercing studio? What?
It's disgusting, that's what it is.
He held ice to the back of my ear and started to push the needle through super fast and put the jewelry in. This was the same for both of my ears. In a week following, I had such a bad reaction to the jewelry in my ears that if I wanted to keep my piercings, which were quite expensive, I had to switch them out to gold studs. My mum, who was a nurse, took all the proper precautions and changed them into proper gold studs, and remarkably, it didn't hurt. In the following weeks, I got an infection after infection, but nothing as bad as the first one, probably due to the fact that I played football, soccer every other day. Finally, my ears calmed down, but both my mum and I were so done with these stupid ear piercings. After about a month of no issues, I went out to a Girls Guides camp and they immediately got infected. This was the worst infection in the world. My lobes swelled up. God, my lobes swelled up widthwise, probably the size of a dime. What's a dime? Is that a coin? A dime's a coin, isn't it? Is that like a penny? That's a cent. What's a dime? Like 5p? They were dark purple and red. My ears were swallowing the studs. The entire backing was swallowed up in the front and practically gone. My mum and two other Girl Guides mums, who were also nurses, had to take out my earrings while at camp in the middle of the woods. Amazingly, the scar tissue stopped being so thick and I was able to get my lobes re-pierced, and I was so scared the entire healing process. Wow. I mean, obviously all the infection stuff and all that thing and getting your ears like pulled open and stuff is actually horrific. But my mind is still puzzled by the first part of the story when you said that the piercer used ice on your ear. Why did the piercer use ice on your ear? I don't understand. What's happening? My belly button horror story. Hi, Roly. Hello. Thanks for reading. You're welcome. When I was 16, I got obsessed with the navel piercing, but my mother hated piercings and tattoos very much. So I had to wait until I was over the age. As soon as I became 18, I went to a piercing studio, where my friend got pierced a year before. The issue is that this place was in the middle of the market. Oh God, at the left was a pet store and the right was some food. Even though this was a huge red flag, yes it is. Just in the middle of the shopping center and there's like a pet store, like a food mart here, like no. Even though this was a huge red flag, I didn't notice because I didn't know anything about piercings back then. Well, they marked and pierced me and then realized they hadn't asked me to choose the jewelry. They brought some acrylic ones while I had the needle through my belly button and I chose the first ones. So because I had the needle in there for more than 7 minutes, 7 minutes! It hurt so bad when they put the jewelry in. Oh. I just need to stop for 2 seconds. So you went there and then they pierced you, but they didn't tell you anything about the jewelry or like get the jewelry out ready. Like, was it even like clean jewelry? But then you're using acrylic. You do not pierce with acrylic jewelry. Like, that's so bad. You don't get fresh piercings with acrylic jewelry. That's so bad. In the instructions, they said, dilute a teaspoon of sea salt into 100 milliliters of water and clean your piercing 3 times a day. Of course, I got very irritated because it was way too much salt into such little water and my piercing started rejecting. I went back and they told me not to worry, that this was normal and not to take it out. But my gut feeling said, no, take it out now. They seem to not know what they were doing. So I took it out and it closed, leaving a scar that looks like sunburn. The whole sea salt water mix make a solution to then clean your piercings. Like, yes, that you can still do that. I use rock salt. I don't really use this method anymore. Back when I first started getting piercings, I never knew about using saline solution. And like, obviously I was getting piercings in like the 2000s when I started getting them. So like the healing methods and all the stuff is very different now than it was back then. So now I just use saline solution, which I use for my contact lenses. Perfect cleaning solution. It's wonderful. People always use way too much salt and then they burn the skin. I would say just stay away from that method unless there's like actually someone physically telling you have to do this to get rid of an infection or something. I don't know. Anyway, guys, I'm well and truly aboard that trigger train. Choo-choo, speeding down the road, about to crash off a cliff and plunge to my death. Bye, oh, recovery, full recovery. Oh. Just smack myself in the face. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Again, I'm actually the most shook I've been out of one of these videos is coming from one of today's stories, and it was the girl at the right at the start, and it was the person right at the start saying that they were only 10 years old, getting, you know, sick and poke tattoos from their 15-year-old, 16-year-old mate. Like, what? That's always going to be triggering. Like, what is it? The whole video for me was like almost like not overshadowed, but just suddenly like my brain couldn't comprehend the rest of it because in my mind it was still just like thinking about the first story that we read. No, totally deranged. Thank you so much for watching today's video. As always, please hit the like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Leave some comments down below of your own horror stories, tattoo, piercings, body modification, anything, and maybe you can make it into the next video. As I said before, you're more than welcome to repost the same story you may have posted on a previous video if I've not featured it. So thank you so much for all the love and support. You guys are amazing. Today's Twitch shout out goes to Mystic Pew Pews 333. Thank you for following me over on Twitch. And if you would like to be in with the chance of being in the next Twitch shout out, come follow me over on Twitch. It's Roly West over on Twitch. We have a lot of fun. A massive shout out to my lovely patrons whose names you can see on the side of the screen here. Thank you for being a Patreon, but an extra special shout out to my top tier Patreons: Ali Cooper, Benjamin Baker, Bethard, Kaz.Thom, Shell Herman, Christina Carl, Corin Pemberton, Heather McFarland, Janae Richey, Jennifer Herman, Joanna Krause, Caitlin Wright, Kelly Bowser, Chloe Louise, Lisa Pennington, Luke Peterson, Petra Selenis, Rachel DC Biscuit, Robin Scott, and Steph Utech. Thank you for being my top tier Patreons. You guys are delicious. Anyway, I'll see you very soon for another fabulous video. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.